Right, good. Nice. And she's out here doing some recall with Tikka. One of her issues is that she's just not very motivated by much. Good girl. Good girl. She's not super motivated with, especially with food or toys or the conventional things that we would usually want to use to train a dog. Not as motivated by that kind of thing, which is very typical with her breed. I believe she's a Corso crossed with an Anatolian Shepherd. That's what the owners tell me. I could be mixing that up, but I think that's what it is. But yeah, not very motivated by much as would be typical with the breed. And so one of the things I kind of told the owners is when it comes to motivation for this dog, a lot of it's going to come from social interaction. So the way that we interact with the dog, the way that we display ourselves, the energy that we present when working with the dog or, you know, giving commands and doing training with the dog, and just interacting in day-to-day life, you know. The social interaction is going to be a big part of that, not so much what kind of reward you have on you. The other aspect of it is going to be motivating through not so much as positive reinforcement, so not so much motivating by giving things like food, affection, toys, but more motivation through negative reinforcement, so taking away something that the dog wants removed to reinforce the behavior. So when we talk about negative reinforcement, that would be something like an electronic collar. So the uncomfortable pressure, when I say the COME, when I say the recall, if the dog ignores me, I add that uncomfortable e-collar pressure, that tapping of the e-collar, until the dog comes towards me. As soon as the dog comes towards me, I relieve that pressure. This is called negative reinforcement because we're taking away, that's the negative aspect of it, to reinforce a behavior. So we're taking away typically something unpleasant or uncomfortable to reinforce a specific behavior. Positive reinforcement, on the other hand, is when you're adding something that the dog likes to reinforce the behavior. So again, using positive reinforcement with this dog is going to be difficult because unless we starve the dog, it's not going to be food motivated, not an overly toy motivated dog, and really would just kind of rather do its own thing, which is again very, very typical of the breeds that we're dealing with in this dog. And so we just need to find an alternative way to motivate, and negative reinforcement can be our best friend for that. And negative reinforcement is a powerful motivator, it really is. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate here a couple recalls. Good. One of the key concepts here when we're using negative reinforcement is teaching the dog to eventually be able to avoid that pressure altogether by doing the behavior. So when I give that recall command, Tikka, if Tikka doesn't start coming to me when I give that recall command, I add the uncomfortable pressure. I tap the button, the black S button, until she starts to come towards me. Once she starts to come towards me, I stop pressing the button. The pressure goes away. I add praise, and I can add positive reinforcement when she gets me through food reinforcement or affection or whatever she is willing to take at that moment. But the future, what we want to work towards is getting it so when I say the come command, I don't even have to hit the button. I don't even have to use the negative reinforcement. I can just go right into positive reinforcement because she does it. And that's her avoiding that consequence, avoiding that negative reinforcing pressure. Tikka, come. Yes, good girl. Good. Good. Tikka, sit. Good. Good girl. Yeah. Good. Good girl. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah, and again, she probably won't take food, but we can try. We can give her a piece. See? Nope. We'll try some different food items and stuff to see what we can get going with her, because she was taking some food, but Tikka, break. Yeah, good girl. Yeah. Yeah. Good. She's really into movement and just staying excited with her. Keeping things fun for her, you know. This can be a bit stressful for dogs like this because, again, it's a lot of negative reinforcement, and so it is a little bit more difficult sometimes for them. So we just want to make sure we're kind of easing them through it, keeping things successful. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, she's really socially motivated, so she wants to be with you, wants to press up against you. Good girl. Good. We just want to make sure that we're only doing that when we want her to do it, right? And we're able to tell her to not do it. Good girl. Ready? We don't need to worry about that right now. All right, so I'm going to try to demonstrate the concept here with that negative reinforcement. So what I'm going to do is walk away from Tikka. Sorry, I'm going to walk away from Tikka, give my recall command, and apply that e-collar stimulation if she doesn't immediately start to turn around towards me. And we're going to kind of use that e-collar stim paired with some leash pressure to guide her towards me. The moment she starts to come into my direction, I'm gonna let go of that e-collar stim and make sure she comes all the way to me. So we'll walk you through it. And I tap the button, so I tap, 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 tap. Tikka, come. Yes, good girl. Good. Good girl. Come on. Come on, come on. Good girl. Good. Yeah, good. Good. Tikka. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Tikka, break. Good. So I didn't use the e-collar there because she came towards me right away. It was perfect. A little bit of leash to guide her towards me, but it was good. Good girl. What's this? What's stuff over here? Good break. Good girl. Good. You gotta come. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Good. Good. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Good. Good. There's a good example with the dog walking by. Tikka. Hey. Tikka. Break. Good. There's a good example of the dog walking by over there. She got distracted, so I gave the recall. She ignored it. Stimulation turned on and she came darting back towards me. And I only tapped the button, I think, one time, and she turned and came right back towards me. So we made sure that that stimulation turns off or that sensation goes away the moment she begins the cue. And that's an important concept. Some people they like to they'll continue to tap the button while the dog recalls. I think that's a really big mistake to be doing that. If the dog is coming to you, that negative reinforcement should go away. It should not continue to happen while the dog is performing the cue. That can create some lasting issues down the road. So, like I said, applying that stimulation for the duration of time needed until the dog begins to commit to the behavior. So if it's a recall, it's the second I see that dog turning around towards me, I stop pressing the button. If I see the dog deviate on the way to me or go off course or lose motivation, perhaps they slow down or get distracted, then I'll go back to applying that negative reinforcement, and I'll probably even repeat the command at that point, saying no and then come, applying my negative reinforcement until the dog gets back on the right track towards me. So just some important concepts when using e-collar or really any tool in dog training. Just knowing the difference in those definitions is super important. So we're going to do a couple more reps. Break. Break. Nice work. Nice work. Sometimes the flexing can make a difference. You gotta come. Come. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Good. Tikka, come. Come. Good. Come. Good. Sit. Good girl. Good. Good. Break. Break. Good girl. And so again, on that one, she kind of ran past me. I used the e-collar to get the recall. So I said come, she ignored it, hit the button, and she started to come towards me, but then she blew past me. And so I recalled her again, and I applied the stimulation as needed, used a bit of leash pressure to guide her towards me, and that's how we kind of get that finished product over time. Tikka, come. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Yeah, good. Sit. Good girl. Good. Good girl. That's work. Break. Good girl. Good. So another good one there, right? I don't remember if I used the e-collar there or not. I'll have to go back and look. Good. It was perfect. Good girl. I don't think I did. There was no e-collar on that one. Good. Lots of motivation on my end too, right? This is where it's really important, especially with a dog like this. Animate yourself, right? You got to do a little bit more work to make that motivation happen too, right? Good. let that slip you, or we'll let that flex you up, so that can be a bit of a... Break. Tikka, come. Yes, good girl. Yeah, good. Good. Good girl, Tikka. Sit. Nope. Nope. Sit. Good. Good. Tikka. Good. Break. Good girl. Okay. All done. Yeah, let's wrap that up there. Good girl. All done.